50 witnesses reveal the shocking truth. How I discovered my mom's incredible sacrifices for me. Jason blinked at the headline, his heart racing. His mother, gone just a month, had left behind a legacy shrouded in silence. He sat on the living room floor, surrounded by boxes, each one heavy with memories. Bittersweet memories. Each object, each piece of clothing, was a reminder of the life that had exploded into silence. Hearths like theirs in Maplewood were built on stories and laughter, but it was the unsung moments that cut the deepest. As he rummaged through her belongings, a dusty old box caught his eye. Pulling it closer, he felt a rush of mixed feelings, a cocktail of curiosity and dread. Inside lay a treasure trove of letters and faded photographs. Jason sifted through them, each item a fragment of a life he only partially knew. The first letter detailed his mother's late nights, her weary hands flipping burgers while juggling 2 other jobs, all the while ensuring that her dreams didn't overshadow his own. Tears pricked his eyes. How could he have missed this? The words spelled out her sacrifices, the dreams she postponed, the joy she sacrificed, all to give him every ounce of hope. Each letter shimmered with raw emotion, stories of resilience he never realized she possessed. As the letters unfolded tales of her life, Jason found himself stepping outside of his grief, feeling the weight of pride and guilt clash within him. To the people in the community, she was more than his mother. She was a beacon of strength, a helping hand, a gentle heart in times of need. You know, his neighbor Frank had told him through watery eyes, "Your mom helped me navigate my divorce. She was always there, even when she was struggling herself." Each piece of her legacy that poured from the mouths of friends ignited a fire within him. These stories of a woman whose sacrifices were etched in the community's fabric painted a clearer picture of her life. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The weight of his mother's past unraveled with each letter. Tales of an immigrant girl, battling prejudice as she carved a place for herself in America. Who was this woman he thought he knew? New emotions stirring inside him made Jason realize he had overlooked the gravity of her journey. He was at a turning point, a crossroads where his dreams for his son could no longer be his alone. As his heart raced with resolve, a spark flared. He would hold a community event in her honor. A gathering not just to mourn her loss but to celebrate her life. A place for stories to collide. A hub of gratitude and shared loss, linking souls in a testament to the unseen sacrifices made each day. Little did he know that this move would unveil deeper truths, unexpected connections paired with unvoiced struggles waiting to rise, just like the whispering sighs behind the laughter and conversations in Maplewood. And as the fleeting moments of grief intertwine with the burgeoning hope, Jason stood on the precipice of transformation, ready to uncover what legacy truly meant. The planning consumed Jason's thoughts. Each day was a whirlwind of ideas and emotions, and he felt an urgency to honor not just his mother's life, but the impact she had on everyone around her. He envisioned the community center filled with people sharing laughter and tears, a mosaic of lives converging in celebration. He reached out to friends and family, sending messages that spread like wildfire across Maplewood. He wanted each person who had been touched by his mother's kindness to be there. It wasn't just about remembrance. It was about connection. The night before the event, he hardly slept, anxiety and excitement dancing a frenzied waltz in his mind. When the big day arrived, Jason stepped into the community center, breathing in the smell of freshly polished wood and blooming flowers that adorned the tables. Pictures of his mother lined the walls, alternating between joy-filled moments and candid snapshots that revealed her spirit alive, vibrant, unstoppable. As the clock ticked closer to the starting hour, laughter and chatter filled the air, growing in volume as familiar faces entered the space. Jason stood near the entrance, swallowed in memories and anticipation. Each hug and each shared story felt like an embrace from his mother herself, encasing him in warmth. "Jason," a familiar voice called. It was Mrs. Collins, the elderly woman from 2 doors down. She approached with tear-streaked cheeks, clutching a vase of daisies. "Your mom never missed a chance to help me in the garden. I thought you'd like these." Struggling to hold back tears, Jason replied, "She loved daisies." A smile broke through his sorrow. "Thank you for coming." As the room began to fill, he climbed onto a small platform. Heart racing, he felt the weight of the crowd's eyes, expectant and hopeful. Taking a deep breath, he started sharing stories about his mother's life. He spoke of the letters, their importance not just to him but to everyone present. The warmth of shared reminiscences wrapped around him, and with each story told, he felt his mother's essence come alive in the room, a presence that could not be extinguished. "I want this to be a night of remembrance," Jason urged, "but also a celebration. My mother taught us to rise together, to uplift one another." As laughter echoed amidst the tears, a woman stood up from the back, her voice trembling with emotion. "I remember a time when your mom paid for my groceries when I was struggling. I always thought, how does she do it?" More voices chimed in, each story weighing heavy with admiration and a hint of disbelief at the note of selflessness that flowed through every anecdote. Jason felt a swell of pride, mixed with an aching realization of how much he had yet to uncover. Just then, someone announced that a local youth group was about to perform. Watching the teenagers spring to life, dancing and singing songs they had written in dedication, a swell of emotion crashed over him. These children were living proof of his mother's legacy, carrying her spirit forward. But as the applause erupted and the joy radiated, Jason felt another pang. Would his mother have ever believed the impact she made? Was this a reflection of her struggles paying off, or merely a glimpse into the legacy of sacrifices that still lingered, waiting to be fully discovered? As the night wore on, Jason realized he stood at a new beginning. For each story shared, each laughter echoed, a deeper truth about the community unfurled. They were bound together not just by grief but by resilience and love. But what other secrets lay in the shadows of his mother's past? The night was far from over, and the next revelation hung in the air like unspoken words, ready to unravel with the turning of a page. Jason stepped down from the platform, a heady mix of elation and exhaustion swirling inside him. The glow of the community center had shifted, deepening as the sun dipped below the horizon outside. Laughter and tears intertwined, sweeping him into a comforting embrace. That night was giving more than just a tribute. It was sharing stories of extraordinary love. But amidst the laughter, one lingering question haunted him. What had his mother hidden? Even among all the stories shared, a part of her felt shrouded in mystery, delicate and unresolved. He couldn't shake the feeling that there were deeper layers of her life waiting to be discovered. As he navigated the crowd, he caught snippets of conversations, old friends reminiscing, neighbors leaning in toward each other, their faces alight with appreciation. Still, he noticed something else, a low murmur that occasionally slipped through the crowd. Whispers about secrets. "Did you hear about the time she helped that family with the house?" Someone said quietly, barely audible over the music. "Or the emergency fund she set up for the kids at school." Another voice chimed in, tinged with both admiration and disbelief. These conversations prickled Jason's ears. Who were these people discussing his mother's philanthropy as if it were something more, something hidden away among forgotten corners? Jason felt a tug inside, an urge to dig deeper, to uncover the woman who had given her everything yet kept parts of herself hidden. At that moment, he spotted Mrs. Collins again. With the daisies now resting on a nearby table, she was surrounded by a few others, their faces lit with reverence. He hesitated and then decided to approach. "Mrs. Collins," he said softly, and she turned, her eyes glistening. "Can I ask you about my mom?" "Of course, dear." Her voice was gentle, yet Jason sensed a weight there, as if she carried unsaid words burdening her heart. "Are there things she did that I don't know about?" The question came out more fragile than he intended. Mrs. Collins exchanged glances with the others. "Your mother didn't just help us, Jason. She did so much more. Her voice dropped to a hush, as if sharing a conspiracy. She kept a lot of things private. Private how? Jason's curiosity intensified, overshadowing his earlier nervousness. Like the time with the Alvarez family, she began, taking a breath as if recalling something sacred. They were about to lose their home, and your mother made sure they didn't have to move. I never knew how she did it. She just worked behind the scenes. Questions tumbled through Jason's mind. How many families had she helped? How many stories had gone untold? A wave of loss washed over him, not just for her passing but for the chance to understand all the corners of her heart. Before he could respond, another guest came forward, an older man with silver hair. If you're interested, I have some things to show you, he said. He held an envelope tightly in his hands. Things from your mother's charity work that she never mentioned to anyone. Jason felt a shiver of anticipation course through him. What kind of things? This may clarify the better part of her life you never knew, the man said carefully, his expression serious. With his heart racing, Jason realized he was at a turning point. The night held possibilities beyond remembrance. It was shaping up to be an exploration of a legacy as vast as it was unknowable. The shadows of his mother's life were beginning to pull back, revealing a treasure trove of love and sacrifice. As the man led Jason toward a quieter corner of the center, anticipation bubbled inside him. What awaited him in that envelope? Would the truths bring new pain? Or would they unveil a side of his mother that would make him fall in love with her even more? The answers loomed ahead, just out of reach, ready to shift everything he thought he knew into a new light. Jason followed the older man, the envelope weighing on his mind like a stone waiting to be cast. They moved away from the laughter and music of the main room, the whispers of the community fading behind them. With each step, his heart pounded in cadence with the growing anticipation. Here, the man said, leading Jason to a small side room. The atmosphere was quieter, the laughter outside reduced to a murmur. The man leaned against a table cluttered with paper and old photographs, his eyes scanning Jason's face, searching for recognition. Before I show you, he began, his tone turning somber, I need you to understand something. Your mother was a force. She did so much, but she also faced her fair share of challenges. It wasn't all easy for her. Challenges? Jason lifted his brows, now completely enthralled. He felt the weight of the envelope and wanted desperately to know what lay inside. The man nodded. Yes. She preferred to shield you from the burdens she carried. But it may help you to hear this. With a measured breath, he carefully opened the envelope, revealing a collection of documents and faded photographs. Jason leaned in closer, his fingers itching to sift through the treasures within. First, the man said, handing over a handful of photographs. They featured families' smiling faces, children playing in yards, moments frozen in time. This was after she helped them. They never knew how your mother orchestrated it all. Jason studied the faces in the pictures, tears welling in his eyes. I never imagined she helped so many people. The man chuckled softly, and these too, he tapped on some neatly folded papers. Records of donations, informal notes she wrote to people, promising help and making sure no matter what, they were supported. Jason felt a knot in his throat. He could feel his mother in every confined corner of that envelope, see her compassion etched in those written words. And yet, it only intensified his yearning to understand more of her. What else? Was there more? His voice trembled slightly, the weight of his burgeoning discovery revealing glimpses of both admiration and pain. The man looked serious. Many never knew she struggled to keep everything going. Sometimes it was so difficult that it impacted her health, her happiness. He paused, as if considering how much more to reveal. She wouldn't just give financially. She'd spend nights planning and working to help people past their struggles, even when she had her own. Jason felt warmth and heartache colliding within him. His mother had become a superhero in his eyes and, yet, she bore her burdens alone. Why didn't anyone tell me about this? He finally asked, bewilderment ringing in his words. Because she asked them not to. Your mother didn't seek praise. She wanted you to live without knowing the weight she carried. She wanted joy for you. As Jason processed this newfound reality, the man handed him another letter from the envelope. This is one she wrote about you. You need to read it. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. His hands trembled as he unfolded the note. The familiar scrawl of his mother danced across the page, written in her warm, elegant style. Already, tears brimmed in his eyes as the words revealed her pride, her love, and the dreams she held for him. And just as he delved into the heart of her message, echoing within the words like a whisper, Jason froze. What he unraveled in those lines was more profound than he had ever expected, a hidden message that had the power to shift everything he thought about her, about himself. Suddenly, he realized he was standing on the edge of a profound revelation, one that could change the very essence of their bond forever. What truly lay beneath the surface of his mother's life? With the letter in one hand, and the weight of her hidden life in the other, he felt the exhilarating fear of approaching something monumental. As Jason began to read, he prepared himself for something extraordinary. What exactly had his mother shared that could alter the way he viewed their love? Forever? Jason's heart raced as he read the letter, each word pulling him deeper into the essence of his mother. The ink seemed to shimmer with emotion, revealing parts of her life he had never known. He stumbled across lines bursting with affection, each sentence striking a chord within him like the notes of a haunting melody. My dearest Jason, he read, you are my greatest joy, my reason for hope. Every choice I've made has been for you, for your future. The world can be a tough place, and I want you to understand that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to lean on others sometimes, to ask for help. You don't have to carry everything alone. Tears flowed freely now, warm against his cheeks. He brushed them away, embarrassed to let them fall, yet feeling an odd sense of liberation at the same time. The man watched him silently, knowing that this moment was crucial for Jason's journey of understanding. Your mother believed in you, wanted you to know you are capable of achieving great things, even in the face of obstacles. She fought battles I didn't even know about, the man said gently, and those battles were often waged in silence. Silence, Jason echoed, his voice barely above a whisper. It felt like the room was closing in around him, the weight of his discoveries smothering yet enlightening. How had he never grasped the true depth of her sacrifices? He felt disoriented, his perception of her shifting irrevocably. Can you imagine? The man continued, his voice threaded with empathy. Every time she smiled at you, she was carrying the weight of every struggle on her shoulders. She wanted you to shine without feeling dimmed by the shadows of her fears. That is so unfair, Jason replied, clenching the letter tightly. Why didn't she let me in? Why did she think I couldn't handle it? Because she loved you too much to burden you, the man replied softly. She wanted to protect you from the harshness of her reality. But in doing so, she kept a part of herself hidden. Jason felt a fissure forming in his understanding of their relationship. All those times he thought he knew her, he was partially blind to her true nature. I wish I could have been there for her. She needed someone to share her struggles with. A friend, a partner, me. Remember, the man said, shifting slightly. What she wanted for you was a life untainted by the heaviness she dealt with. She believed you should chase after dreams without a cloud of doubt looming over you. But every relationship is a balance, sharing burdens can lighten the load. Jason's eyes shifted back to the letter, anxious to read on. Compelled by the need to uncover every hidden layer of his mother's heart, he recognized how this newfound knowledge could reshape everything he believed before. He resumed reading, a mix of fear and excitement surging through him. As he reached the end, the final words sent a shiver down his spine, promising deeper revelations. In you, Jason, I see strength. I see potential. Please know that every sacrifice I made, every tear I shed, was worth it for your happiness. Clutching the letter to his chest, he felt a surge of defiance blossom within him. He had to understand more about his mother, about himself, about life itself. He needed to uncover the truth she had shielded him from, the stories buried in the past. What can I do now? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The man looked intently at him. You have to continue her legacy. Find those she helped, learn their stories. And you, Jason, be someone people can count on. Don't ignore your own challenges, share them. Let her struggles inspire you to lift others up. The weight of the moment pressed down on him. This wasn't just about understanding his mother anymore. This was about stepping into his own path and embracing the compassion he had learned from her life. As Jason stepped back from the table, a new fire ignited inside him. There was so much more to explore, so many mysteries waiting to unfold. Who were the people his mother had supported? What struggles had they faced? With his heart pounding, he turned to the man. Will you help me find them? I need to know more. Even as he asked, he sensed that the journey would not just be about the past. It would be a journey that could redefine his future. A journey steeped in love, sacrifice, and rediscovery. What's your first step? The man inquired, a glint of pride in his eyes. Jason looked out into the distance, ready to take on whatever came next. I'll learn their stories, and I'll make sure my mom's legacy shines brighter than ever. Little did he know, some stories weren't finished yet, and some secrets bore more weight than he could ever imagine. Jason stood at the threshold of a journey, his heart a flurry of determination and uncertainty. He could still feel the warmth of the letter pressed against his chest, the ink of his mother's words igniting a new purpose in him. He turned back to the man, who leaned forward, hands clasped together as if in prayer. Where do we start? Jason asked, the urgency bubbling beneath his calm exterior. The first step is finding those she helped, the man replied. They're scattered around, just like pieces of a puzzle. Their stories are woven into hers. Each person holds a fragment that will unlock more than just her past. They'll reveal your path ahead. Jason took a deep breath, grounding himself in the moment. Do you know any of them? The man nodded slowly. I do. But they need to be approached delicately. Not everyone shares their past so easily. You'll need to listen, really listen, and honor what they share. Jason felt a rush of anticipation. He wasn't just chasing shadows of memories anymore. He was about to dive into the vibrant lives shaped by his mother's kindness. Let us do it. Who's first? The old man smiled. There's a woman named Clara. She ran a small community center where your mother volunteered. I believe she still visits it from time to time. Jason felt a pang of recognition resonate through him. His mother had always spoken fondly of community work, the energy of connection, and the thirst for change. Clara, he repeated, a name fueled with possibility. Where can I find her? She lives not far from here, but the center might be a better place to start. It's south on Maple Street. Just be prepared. She carries her own burdens. A hint of doubt crossed Jason's mind. What if Clara didn't want to discuss his mother? What if the memories were too painful? But the need to know outweighed his fears. I can handle it, he assured himself, and the man nodded, believing in him. They made their way out onto the street, the world buzzing around them. Jason felt invigorated by the rush of adventure, matched only by the flutter of anxiety deep in his gut. The journey ahead loomed like a wide river, challenging yet alluring. What stories would unfold? As they walked, they shared stories of Jason's childhood, laughter mixing with heartache. The memories were blurred, fading like old photographs, but he could see the outline of joy in them. The man asked about Jason's ambitions, dreams, and what made him tick. Every question drilled deeper, forcing Jason to sift through emotions he had buried beneath layers of disbelief and confusion. Minutes later, they stood before the vibrant building of the community center. The paint chipped but full of character, alive with laughter spilling out from inside. Jason could feel the pulse of the place. It vibrated with connection. Do you think she'll remember my mother? He asked, his voice a mix of hope and uncertainty. Oh, she will, the man replied, hands resting on Jason's shoulders. Your mother left an imprint that's hard to forget. Just be open-hearted. Remember, some stories bring light, and others might hold sadness. Jason nodded, heart racing again. With a deep breath, he stepped inside. The air buzzed with activity. Laughter and chatter filled the space. Music played softly in the background, and he allowed the warmth to wrap around him like an embrace. He scanned the room, eyes landing on a woman near the back, her silver hair catching the light. Clara. She appeared to be helping two kids craft something colorful, her hands gentle and swift. There was a spark in her eyes that gave him the courage he needed. Approaching Clara felt like walking into a whirlwind. As soon as she caught sight of him, her face changed, recognition flickered like a candleless flame. But before he could say anything, she whispered, "You're Jason, aren't you?" "Yeah, that's me," he managed, the words catching in his throat. Clara set down her materials and turned her full attention to him. "Your mother, she talked about you often. Her love for you was boundless." His heart swelled at her words, a mix of longing and affection. "I'm here to learn about her, about everything she did." The corner of Clara's mouth twitched, a mixture of sadness and pride. "There are stories beautiful and painful. Are you ready to hear them?" Jason took a deep breath, the air thick with emotion. "I want to know everything." And with those words, he stepped onto a path that could forever change the meaning of the love that surrounded him. But what depths would those stories reveal? And what would they ask of him in return? Clara motioned for Jason to sit at a nearby table, the colorful papers and half-finished projects strewn about reflecting the vibrancy of the lives she touched. He felt the weight of her gaze as she paused, gathering her thoughts. It was as if the room had hushed, each child's laughter fading into the background, replaced by the pulse of their shared anticipation. "I remember the first time I met your mother," Clara began, her voice soft yet steady. "She walked through these doors, full of ambition. She wanted to help, to give back. But she had her own battles." A flicker of sorrow crossed her features, and for a moment, Jason felt a pang of worry. If his mother had struggled, how could he have been so naive to think she had it all figured out? "What do you mean?" he asked, leaning in. Clara took a deep breath, her fingers absent-mindedly smoothing out a paper star. She had her demons. "You see, your mother faced loss of friends, dreams, even at times, her own sense of self. But she never let that stop her. Her pain became her strength, and she poured that into the community." Jason's heart raced. He had always viewed his mother as a pillar of constancy, steadfast and unwavering. How did she do that? He whispered, trying to grasp the new image forming in his mind, a woman torn yet resilient. "She found purpose in your laughter," Clara said, her eyes shimmering. "You were her light in dark times. The way she spoke about you, it was like you were her reason. She wanted you to have a full life, to see the beauty in everything, even when she couldn't." That revelation hit him like a wave, crashing over him and pulling back, leaving clarity in its wake. "Tell me more," he urged, desperate for the fragments that painted the picture of his mother's sacrifice. Clara obliged, her voice weaving a tapestry of tales, each one a reminder of his mother's warmth, her perseverance. They talked about the community events where she would spend hours organizing fundraisers, always with a smile, her laughter echoing through the hall. She recalled how his mother would stay late to help families who struggled to find their footing after falling on hard times. As the conversation continued, Jason noted every detail. Each story carried layers, revealing not just his mother's actions, but the essence of her spirit, the compassion that inspired joy amid adversity. His chest tightened with every revelation, filled not just with pride for his mother, but also a newfound understanding of her struggles. "Do you know what happened to her?" Jason pushed gently, sensing the frailty hidden under Clara's brave exterior. He needed to understand the why behind the silence that followed his mother's absence. Clara's expression shifted, a shadow flickering across her eyes. "That's the hardest part. Sometimes the burdens we carry deepen into shadows we can't escape." She paused. "Your mother didn't just help others. She fought against her own pain in silence. There was a moment, a choice she had to make. It's not an easy story to tell." Jason's heart raced. What choice? What was kept from him? He leaned in, urgency spilling from his lips. "I need to know," he urged, a plea wrapped around his curiosity. "If there's something I can understand, please don't hide it from me." Clara took a long, trembling breath, her hands shaking slightly. She chose to protect you, you see. It wasn't just about her struggles. She wanted to ensure you had a future free of her burdens. A silence bloomed between them, heavy and filled with questions. Jason gazed into Clara's eyes, searching for the light that had once sparkled there, now shadowed by unshared fears. What did that mean for her? And with that question, the door to his mother's truth creaked wider, revealing the kind of love that could reshape everything he thought he knew. What secrets lay behind Clara's next words? And would Jason be ready for the truth even if it shattered the ideal of the mother he had always known? Clara hesitated, her eyes searching the floor as if it held answers she wasn't quite ready to face. Jason's heart raced in his chest. He felt the tension not just in the air, but in the connection between them. He could see Clara weighed down by years of shared sorrow, and it made him ache to know what she held back. "Your mother fought hard," Clara finally murmured, her voice a mere whisper, almost drowned out by the distant laughter of children. "But one day she had to make a choice she thought was best for you." Jason's breath caught. A choice about what? His voice cracked with urgency, as if expecting the answer would bring clarity to the chaos in his heart. Clara's fingers trembled as they danced over a small brochure on the table. "You have to understand, Jason. Your mother was a fighter, but there was a part of her that felt she couldn't keep going. She was afraid her darkness would consume you. She didn't want you to suffer the same way she did." The weight of Clara's words crashed over him. He felt a cold knot in his stomach. "So she left?" "No, not in the way you think," Clara answered, her eyes wide with pain. "She didn't leave willingly. It was more complicated than that. Your mother believed that if she disappeared, it would be easier for you. She thought you'd be better off." "Better off?" His voice rose with disbelief. "But I needed her. I still do." Jason's heart pulsed with anger and sorrow, jumbled together in a whirlwind of emotion. Clara's gaze softened, a shadow of guilt tracing her features. "I know, and so did she. But sometimes, love means making choices that don't feel like love at all." She thought by stepping back, she was protecting you from the storms that raged in her mind. Jason felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes, the heartbreaking realization rushing in. What if I wanted to share her storms? What if I could help her fight? The plea echoed in his mind, swirling with regret for a relationship he had yearned to understand more deeply. "And you were a bright spot in her world, Jason," Clara said gently. "You don't know it, but she often spoke about how proud she was of you. Even in her darkest hours, you were the light shining through. But she thought leaving you would allow you to grow unburdened." Jason swallowed hard, struggling with the weight of it all. "What could I have done differently? Is this all my fault?" No, don't think like that. You did nothing wrong. You were a child, the very heart of what she fought for, what she hoped for. Her love was so powerful, but it was also her downfall." Clara reached out, her hand resting atop his. There was so much she wanted to tell you, so much she wanted to show you. For the first time, Jason felt the walls around his heart begin to crack. "But I still want to know," his voice faltered. "What happened next? After her choice?" Clara nodded slowly, her expression shifting with a mix of hesitation and resolve. "She got lost in her own battles, and one day, she didn't come back. But it wasn't because she wanted to disappear from your life. It was because she got lost in the very darkness she fought against." His chest tightened, the burden of unspoken truths suddenly feeling heavier. "There's so much I don't understand." Then Clara leaned closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "Jason, your mother's story doesn't end here. There's more to uncover about her past, her sacrifices, and there's something she left behind for you. A part of her that was meant for your eyes only." A sudden surge of urgency sparked within him. What could she have left? How much more of his mother's love and pain was hidden beneath the shadows? "Please, tell me," he urged, his heart racing as he felt the fabric of his life shift once more, on the brink of revelation. What had his mother intended to share with him? Clara took a deep breath, her gaze steady as she searched Jason's eyes. The room was filled with a thick silence, weighty and electric, a moment suspended in time. He could see her resolve building, like the calm before a storm. Your mother came here, Clara finally said, her voice trembling slightly. Before she made her choice, she wanted to tell you everything. She left something for you, something that explains why she felt she had to go. Jason's heart dropped. What was it? Where is it? The urgency was palpable in his voice, each word an emotional plea. Clara pointed toward the darkened corner of the room, her finger trembling as it hovered over a dusty bookshelf. She wanted it hidden, for you to find when you were ready. It's a box, a small wooden one, carved with her initials. It contains letters and photographs, things that were too painful for her to share openly but felt necessary to leave for you. His mind spun. Could this be the bridge to understanding her? To finding a connection he never had a chance to form? I need to see it, Jason said, barely controlling the intensity of his feelings. He moved towards the bookshelf, his fingers brushing across the spines of books as he searched for any sign of the box. Clara watched him, a flicker of hope in her expression. You have to be careful. What's inside might be overwhelming. Overwhelming? He repeated, feeling a curious mix of anxiety and anticipation surge within him. It was like standing on the edge of a cliff, not knowing whether to jump or to back away. What if it explains everything? What if I could finally know her, who she really was? As he scanned the shelves, his heart quickened every time he saw a small wooden box. They all looked so similar, yet he could almost feel the pull of one over the other's dark and slightly worn. He reached for it, pulling it into the light, the familiar weight oddly comforting in his hands. This is it, he exclaimed, a spark igniting inside him. The box was beautiful, but it felt heavy with secrets. Clara leaned in closer, watching him with a mix of admiration and concern. Open it when you're ready. Just remember, some truths can be painful. He took a deep breath, already feeling the prickle of tears at the edges of his eyes. I'm ready, he insisted, his voice steadying with conviction. Jason slowly lifted the lid, the creaking sound echoing in the silence around them. Inside, he found letters bound together with a fraying ribbon and photos, fragile and faded. His mother smiled back at him from one of the images, her eyes sparkling with a warmth that hit him like a wave. Mom, he whispered, taking in her features as he flipped through the photographs. Each picture spoke of happy moments, laughter, and love, the kind of love he had craved, yet felt he never fully received. What had she wanted him to know? What had she been so afraid to reveal? Clara's voice broke through his thoughts. She wanted you to understand her journey, Jason. She wanted to show you her love, even if it felt like it was hidden. It all leads to who you are today and who you can become. Jason felt a swirl of emotions: sadness, joy, understanding. Could this be the key to healing? To finally knowing the woman behind the shadows? As the weight of the photographs settled in his hands, he looked back at Clara. What if I learned something I never expected? What if it changes everything? She nodded slowly, a knowing look passing between them. It might, but sometimes to find the truth you must first confront the darkness. He took another deep breath, looking down at the box that held his mother's heart within it. I need to face it. I need to know. With trembling hands, he reached for the first letter, feeling the life of his mother pulsing through the paper. Jason was about to uncover the hidden chapters of her life and maybe, just maybe, begin to write a new story of his own. What truths awaited him within those fragile pages? Would they bring him peace, or would they stir up turbulence in the heart he was still trying to mend? As Jason unfolded the first letter, a sense of anticipation surrounded him like an embracing fog. His fingers brushed against the neat, slanted handwriting. He recognized instantly his mother's words twinkled with life and emotion. To my beloved Jason. He felt a surge of warmth radiate through him, each word resonating with a love that wrapped around his heart. Tears prickled at the edges of his vision as he read on. His mother spoke of dreams unfulfilled, her journey filled with struggles, but also of unwavering hope, a hope anchored in her belief in him. I fought against the darkness within me, so you'd never know how heavy my heart sometimes became. Jason's chest tightened. Each sentence stripped away layers of doubt and fear, casting a light into the shadows where his mother often dwelled. The depth of her love became clearer, woven intricately with the fear she carried. I wanted you to inherit a world filled with possibilities, free from the burdens of my past. He felt her spirit swirling within every line. This wasn't just a letter. It was a conversation, a heartfelt declaration of love amidst pain. Sure enough, it was an overwhelming concoction of joy, heartache, and revelation. Jason, if you're reading this, it means I'm not physically with you anymore. But my love will always be a part of you. I want you to find joy in the little things, to allow others to help you, and to never be afraid of the storms. The tears fell freely now, a relief he didn't realize he needed. He swallowed the lump in his throat as her words wrapped around him, soothing yet breaking him open at the same time. I fought so many battles alone, thinking I was protecting you. But I see now it's in sharing our burdens that we find strength. He felt the weight of her pain echo in his own heart. How could he have missed all of this? The truth pushed at the edges of his reality, coaxing him to embrace vulnerability. Jason flipped through the letters, each page revealing tiny pieces of a soul filled with love and uncertainty. As he dove deeper, he discovered notes she had penned not just for him, but for others too, encouraging words for families she had helped, reminders of resilience against adversity. Each letter was a testament to her strength and a call for him to continue what she started, to reach out, to care. I hope you meet the people who hold pieces of my story. They will teach you more about who I was and who you can become. Suddenly, the weight of her legacy felt alive, swirling around him in a gust of urgency and purpose. This was the next step, the continuation of her love. With a determined heart, Jason looked up at Clara, who regarded him with a mixture of gratitude and tenderness. You have the gift of understanding her now. You know the woman she truly was, and you are ready to carry that forward. Don't worry, he replied, feeling invigorated by the weight of responsibility beginning to settle in. I'll share her story. I'll honor her by helping others, just as she did. Clara's face lit up with pride, a glimmer of hope shining in her eyes. That's the spirit. Your mother would want you to embrace both the love and the pain, to know that the scars of our past make us who we are. Moving toward the other letters and photographs, he felt renewed determination surge through him. He was ready to learn and to help. It was time to weave new stories, ones filled with connection. New stories crafted from his mother's legacy. As the sunlight stretched through the dusty windows, illuminating the room with a golden glow, Jason felt the weight of his mother's presence beside him. She was guiding him, gently pushing him forward toward the future she dreamed of for him. Fueled by the love revealed within those fragile pages, Jason stood taller. This was his time, his moment to rise and turn the love of the past into action for the present and the future. With hope igniting his every step, he looked back at Clara. I want to meet everyone she helped. The families, the children. They deserve to know how their lives have impacted mine. Clara smiled, her eyes glistening with pride and admiration. Then let us start anew. Together we can delve into the lives she touched. And as Jason ventured forward, he felt the pulse of his mother's heart within him, an energy that would lead him through the maze of connection and love, turning loss into purpose. With every step into the world beyond the community center, tears of joy spilled onto his cheeks, an acknowledgement of all his mother's sacrifices and a motivation to transform them into a legacy of hope and compassion. The past was no longer a shadow. It was a guiding light pushing him toward a bright, interconnected future. In that moment, he realized that the love that once felt abandoned was never truly lost. It was simply waiting for him to embrace it. The journey was just beginning, and Jason couldn't wait to see where it would lead him. Now, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next incredible stories. Don't wait not even one more second to share this with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Leave a like now to help feed the algorithm and comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Let us create a wave of inspiration together.